everybody, and welcome to Haver and Means Business Morning Commute. Hope you're doing really well. I am freezing this morning. It's like I'm in my little sort of home office / library / shed, and it is very, very cold. So I've got a heater next to me trying to warm me up, and hopefully that will kick in soon. Who's going to jump on first? It's Sharon. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? Morning, everybody. Morning, Carol.
Now, I'm loving the jumper, by the way, Sharon. First thing to say, and I've got a feeling there's going to be a winter-ish theme today because everybody is so cold. But I suppose the icebreaker, because we normally start with a non-business related question that I think up on the spot, and I haven't thought one today. But I'll start with, what is your favourite thing about autumn and winter?
The colours. That's
colours.
The one thing I love. I hate the rest, but I love the colours.
See, I don't normally, if I'm out and about, I don't normally mind the cold, but it's when it's wet and cold, I don't like. But yeah, colours. So is it autumn colours you like? Or?
It's autumn colours. I love it. I mean, you see the contrast in the trees. I take so many photos of the trees as they turn, and you've got the two contrasting colours. It's beautiful. That's my favourite thing.
Oh, love it, love it. And what's your favourite thing about sort of Christmas? Is it too early? It's too early, isn't it?
Well,
has to be, doesn't it?
Family.
Okay, so colours is your favourite thing. Amazing. And how's life in general?
Brilliant, brilliant. I am. Do you know what? I've got brilliant reviews from clients. I'm picking up clients from referrals, which for me is always an accolade, because if my clients are happy to say, you know what, she does a good job, use her, then for me that is amazing.
Yeah, that's nice. That's always a good thing to do.
And then there's the weight loss journey, which is just making my year. I love it. I'm
Sharon,
so pleased with it.
Tell us a little bit about how you're getting on with that.
So I am down nearly 7 stone now.
7 stone in what period of time?
Just over a year.
That's a lot of weight in a year, isn't it?
It's a third of my body weight is gone.
And how close are you to achieving whatever target you're aiming for?
Well, that's a bit of a moving feast, because ideally I would say about 2.5 to 3 stone.
Okay.
But if one more person says to me, you haven't got another 3 stone to lose, I think I'm going to have to poke their eyes out, because that's my decision, not anybody else's.
Well, to be honest though, Sharon, I mean, I think that 7 stone you've lost, I'm putting on at the minute, because I'm still eating like I'm running. I'm not running anymore. So yeah, I mean, maybe we'll just swap over the course of the next year. Who knows?
Especially here with a bowl of porridge for breakfast.
I know, yeah, exactly. Thanks, Sharon. Really appreciate that. Carol, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Hello, everybody.
And go on, tell us the best thing about the autumn-winter period for you.
I think Sharon's pretty much, yeah, it's the only good thing really is all the changing colours, isn't it? Because I can't stand when it gets dark so early. But mornings like this morning, I do like an autumn morning like this. It's all frosty on the cars and it's bright and sunny though. And there is loads to look forward to, I suppose. I'm in the firework loving camp, so we went to a wonderful display last night at the kids' school at Marshall's Park in Romford, and there's just so many people there and everything, and well, 2,000. So it was publicised very well with leaflets, so of course it was a success.
How many people were there? 2,000.
2,100. Yeah, they completely.
Blimey, and where was it? Was it in the park?
Marshall's Park School, so on their back field, so everybody was on like the back playground or at secondary school, I don't know what you call it, secondary school hangout area, and then all the field, they were right down the bottom of the field by Ravens Park. So yes, really good.
Yeah, and who did the leaflets? That was a joke, by the way. I clearly know who did the leaflets. Cool, good stuff. And have you got anything to like share that you're really proud of, like Sharon today? Non-work related. We'll come on to the work stuff in a minute.
Not work related, yeah, just that I'm probably joining you in putting a bit of Sharon's weight on at the moment, and I'm loving it. But I'm back to park run tomorrow. I've just had a couple of weeks of just like eating pastry and stuff and not running, so tomorrow we're back onto it, but I've loved it.
It's a weird one because I am exercising now. I'm just not running. But there was one of my clients was in on Thursday, and he was telling me about there's a. And you know, Carol, that I do love a bit of bling. I do love a good medal, right? And apparently there's a special medal you can get, which if you complete the London Marathon, the Hyde Park Serpentine Swim, which is a 2-miler, and the 100-mile bike ride, the Through Ride London one. If you do all three, you get a London Classics medal on top of the three. So I'm changing disciplines. I'm going for a swim now. I'm gonna do the 2-miler next year. So yeah, that'll be good. No, I you know what? This is the weird thing. Open water swimming has always put me off. I've never been a fan of that. But I like the idea of getting used to it. So I'm in the pool at the minute, but are you not a swimmer by the look at that face, Carol?
I'm not even crazy about it in a swimming pool, but the idea of being in the lake, and something getting you, no.
What animal are you most worried about?
I don't know. Something's going to get you. Good morning, Neve.
Oh, Neve's coming. Neve's coming. Yeah. So open water swimming's not going to be your thing ever, no?
No way. But I wish you all the best with it. I know that you'll make a good job of it.
I'll try my best. Christine, how are you?
Good morning. I'm fine, thank you. Yes, I'm not quite sure what to say to your questions this morning. So I haven't lost lots of weight. I probably am putting some on, but that was a girly weekend that just went by. So we ate and chatted. So yeah, I'm sure I put on weight this weekend.
What's your favourite thing about the sort of colder months?
That it won't last forever. I'm looking forward to the 21st of December when the days get shorter.
Yeah, those dark nights and dark mornings are really, really tough, aren't they? Really, really tough.
Yeah. It's getting up in the morning when it's dark. I can't do that. It just kills me. It's like, no, it's nighttime. I should still be sleeping. We're lucky now, but in a few weeks' time, it'll be.
Yeah. I tend to hibernate in the winter just because it feels dark all the time. So I completely get you. But let's be optimistic. What's good that's going on in your life that's non-work related?
Not a lot, really. I don't know. It just feels a bit boring at the moment. Don't know. We're still succeeding at homeschooling. I guess that's a win. So, yeah. So she's starting ice skating lessons this morning. So if I have to dash off at 9:30, if we run over, then yeah, I'll have to make excuses.
Ice skating? Where's she ice skating? Over at the
Sapphire.
Cool.
Yeah, they're doing a homemade group from 10 till 11:30. So yeah.
Amazing. All right. Well, that sounds really good. Lisa, how are you? And Neve?
I'm good. I was just literally, I feel like I'm about to sneeze, so I apologise. That's why I couldn't talk straight away.
That might be one of the worst things about the winter months,
I know,
coughs and colds.
I feel like I've permanently got a cold. Oh, there's Neve.
Hi Neve, how you doing?
Yeah, she's good. Yeah, no, all good. The thing I like most about winter has got to be boots. Being able to wear boots, nice big chunky boots. My favourite thing.
Colours and boots. I'm surprised by the answers, but yeah, all good.
I mean, that is boots. And then I get disappointed when it gets impossible to wear boots in the summer because it gets just too hot, and then it becomes a bit embarrassing that I'm still wearing boots. But I try and stretch it out as long as possible.
Would you do you prefer the winter or do you prefer the summer? Because I am definitely a summer.
You know what? I don't really mind. I quite like the fact we have seasons. The only thing working in care that I detest is snow, because obviously that just
stops everything.
Pretty tricky sometimes. So yeah, that's the only thing. But I actually do like snow if you're sitting indoors and you've got nowhere to go.
Yeah, it feels a bit. If you're in a warmer house, it feels cozy, doesn't it?
Yeah. Someone said snow's only best on a postcard, which in some ways I agree with, but if you're part of the postcard, then that's good.
Oh, good stuff. And tell us something non-work related that's going on well in your life.
I actually have been on a bit of a weight loss journey like Sharon. I've lost about just over a stone now and got a couple more probably to go. So that's been good. And I think just listening to Sharon, it does make you feel really good and positive that you're in control of something and you're doing something for yourself. And I totally agree, Sharon, just carry on doing what you feel is right for you rather than everyone else thinks, because everyone will have an opinion on what you're doing, but it's how you feel ultimately is the most important thing, isn't it?
I think part of the challenge with all of that sort of stuff is I think other people's expectations ultimately don't matter, do they? Do you know what I mean? It's what you want to do. And
it's always about how you feel. And then I was actually quite proud. I saw Carol there and a couple of others we went to the Queen's Theatre, and Neve came with me, and she, even at 11, still a little bit embarrassed, but still happy to talk to people. And I think the same was true with Carol's daughter, Amy. It's quite nice to see that they're happy to just communicate with people. So I think that's good, because I think just having children that are willing to talk to adults, even at any age, is pretty good.
You know what? It's interesting because we've got a few family businesses on the call, and I always get my girls involved. And we had a Havering Means business event last week, and we dragged Charlotte along to sort of man the reception, and she did an amazing job. But I think running your own business and getting your kids involved then allows us as business owners to teach lessons to our kids that we've learned through business. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think she probably doesn't like all of those lessons sometimes, but Neve has set up multiple businesses herself, so I wouldn't like to take anything away from her. She's got
Neve, come and tell us about one of your businesses.
No, I don't. I won't say anything else.
Are you not free promotion, Neve? You got to get involved. What?
She's got a beads business. You can see I'm modelling them. So I'll stop now because she's getting embarrassed.
If I don't see beads by Neve on the HMB forum, I'm going to be disappointed now. All right, thanks, Lisa. Paul, how are you?
Yeah, very good, thanks, Chris. Very good. Morning, everyone.
Morning. And tell me, have you encouraged your kids, because your kids are a little bit older, aren't they? Have you encouraged your kids to get involved in business, or have they
hate anything to do with numbers? Jobs? They hate numbers, yeah. There wouldn't be much use in my role.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about what you like about the colder months.
Probably with Christine at end shortly. I enjoy playing golf at the weekend. So obviously, when you get winter come along, it's not ideal. And whilst the cold's not too bad, it's the wet which is not encouraging. And of course, last weekend was an ideal situation where you go out to play golf and it's raining. You decide after 9 holes you've had enough and you'll go in, and you encourage your mate to go and have a cup of tea, and you sat indoors. 20 minutes later, the sun comes out. You go, I can't be bothered to go out again.
You never time it right, can you?
And then you say, I'll tell you what, let's play Sunday instead. And you look out Sunday and it's just raining all day. So cold's fine, rain's no good.
No, I'm not keen on rain. And tell us something that's going on positive in your life that's non-work related.
I suppose I'm looking at and getting into a book called The 12-Week Year by Brian Moran.
Okay.
You may or may not have heard of. And the idea is you just condense your target period down to 12 weeks, because what they say is when you have a target or aspiration set over 12 months or the full year, you just go, I can do it tomorrow, I'll do it the next day, I'll do it the next week. Whereas when you condense it down to a 12-week period, it focuses your mind. You've got to do something today. You can't leave it till tomorrow. And it's like you've got 4 years within a year, if that makes sense. So you're pushing yourself the whole time, Chris.
So it creates a sense of urgency in terms of
very much so.
Done, and then avoids procrastination. Is that the idea?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Who's it by?
Brian Moran, Moran.
Okay, cool. Good stuff. And that was slightly work related, so I'm not going to let you get away with this one. Tell me something that's completely personal that's going on well.
It's going well. I can't think of anything at the moment. I really can't think of
Well,
anything.
clearly you're getting 4 years in one. That's
Yeah, it's still going so fast, Chris. The trouble is, you probably age a lot quicker as well.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
That's happening already, mate. I don't need to worry about that. Thanks, Paul. Really appreciate that.
Oh.
Nadine, how are you?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you.
Now we need to stop bumping into each other. Let's be honest, because literally you were at my office on Tuesday, and I saw you in the evening at the Havering Chamber event, which was good. And you're here today. So, how's your week been?
Busy.
Clearly. So
A non-stop week.
yeah. So two questions we always start with, because at Havering Means Business Week we always start with a bit of an icebreaker. Talk to me about the best thing for you about winter or the colder months, and tell me something non-work related that's going on really well, positive in your life.
I don't particularly like the winter months. I don't like cold.
We're not a fan of winter here, are we? Clearly.
No. I mean, the good thing about winter for me is that events start up, and I love being involved with events. So, you know, I get lots of events around the winter time, but I don't like the getting in and out, loading the car up in the cold and the wet, like Paul just said. It's blooming awful.
Yeah.
And it being dark so early.
I like when it feels a bit fresher in the winter, but as soon as that rain starts, it just ruins it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then tell us something that's going on positive that's non-work related.
Something positive that's non-work related. Well, not a lot really. You know what's going on in my life.
It's like he keeps bumping into you, Chris. It's a positive.
Yeah, that's a positive. Seeing you so much this week.
Thank you. I didn't pay you to say that, by the way, just so everybody knows. Terry, are you around? Because we've got Terry online. Yeah, hey Terry, how are you, mate?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good stuff. And before we talk a bit of business, which we will get round to, tell us a little bit about what you like about the colder months, if anything, and just please find something, because we're struggling at the minute. And what's going well in your life that's non-work related.
So I guess like most of you guys, I'm not really a big winter fan. I suppose looking forward to the summer more than anything else.
I'm changing the Havering Means business to the I Hate Winter fan club, I think.
But again, having said that, I guess it is nice to have a change, isn't it? Because you know, you can look forward to summer, and sometimes it does get too hot. So I don't know. And what going on in my personal life? God.
Just one positive thing. What's going on?
Positive. Okay, I can think of something actually. My tiles were delivered for my bathroom refit on Monday, so that's positive. Because as if my wife was here now, she would inform you all that it's been 2 years now since I started doing it.
Is it a DIY job and just one you've not around so far?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. I wanted to do it myself, so my brother's a plumber, heating engineer, right. So he's done the pipe work, but I've done all the walls and everything. I'm just waiting for the tiler now, so it's mainly done. But yeah, so that's kind of positive, I guess.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, you're a better man than me, because I won't go anywhere near that job, Terry. It's one that I'm just haven't got the skill set for. So glad to hear you getting involved. And lastly, we've got Sarah. Sarah, you know the questions. Good things about the winter months and what's going on personally that's positive.
Okay, well, so totally with Sharon on the colours, but the pumpkin spice latte that you can get. Ooh. I had my first 2 days ago. It was delicious, and I do love it being cold enough to put a fire on in the evening.
Oh yes,
that's the good thing about it, and the winter clothes. I quite like the winter clothes and the boots and all the rest of it. So yeah, I'm not a hater. And I think we've got so many birthdays in this house in October and November. It's quite a nice time, really. Expensive, but really nice.
Yeah, we're in the same boat. So Sophie's end of November, Charlotte start of December, and then Kaz is on New Year's Eve. So we've got 2 of the kids' birthdays, then Christmas, and then New Year's Eve, and it literally just doesn't stop. So much so, though, Sarah, that the girls want to, and they've been watching Christmas adverts this morning, want to start Christmas really early. It's bizarre. And I'm going, let's just wait until the 1st of December. It will officially start on Sophie's birthday. That's when it will all start to kick in. But yeah,
When's hers?
28th.
Oh, okay. Right,
28th November.
Right, because I've got my son's birthday on the 26th. My son's birthday is the 1st. My husband's birthday is the 2nd, and our wedding anniversary is the 3rd. So, but Christmas for us normally starts on the 1st because Alfie loves us putting up the tree and, you know, advent calendars and all the rest of it. So
Cassie does it by stealth, so she'll like I walk in from work one day and there'll be like just one decoration, and then it'll grow. It literally just starts to like sort of like multiply, and then like sort of by the 1st we've got everything up. But yeah, all good. And tell us something that's going on sort of really well in your life.
Yes, so exercise not so. I had these grand plans on the 1st of November to do half an hour on my cross trainer every day. I have done 0 hours. But anyway, let's set that aside. That's not positive. I went on holiday, and I think that was long overdue. Actually,
and how was travelling? How was
It was all right. I mean, the forms and everything are a bit of a pain, and and then you worry that you haven't done the right forms or filled them in properly. But actually, it was fine. Stansted, we flew out of Stansted, and it wasn't too busy. The flight was full, but once we got there, we did nothing. We did nothing, and that was a massive positive. So I feel like I might be ready for whatever life throws for the next couple of months. So
all right, good stuff. Yeah, that sort of chill, relax, and then sort of refresh is probably important. Thanks, I really appreciate that. Let's talk a bit of business. Sharon, tell us what's going on. Introduce who you are first of all, because we've got loads of new people in the community at the minute, and this is posted live on the Facebook group, so I want to make sure that everybody knows who you are. And tell us a bit about what's going on in your world work-wise at the minute.
A big brief on who I am for those that do know, because it gets a bit boring, I suppose. So I'm Sharon from Argus Accounting. I started Argus Accounting in May last year, having got really hacked off with traditional accounting firms, basically. I'd worked in 3 firms, a top 40, a West End firm, and a local smaller firm, and just decided, there's so many things I don't like. And the biggest thing is that I don't feel most accounting firms work for their clients. They work to present their clients with tax bills. So they do bookkeeping in order to give you a VAT bill. They do your year-end accounts to give you a corporation tax bill. But what value do they add to your business? I've turned this around, and I do bookkeeping for my clients to give them information so that they can make decisions about their business, not just pay VAT bills. That for me is the tick of a button when I've done all that, and that's your VAT return to pay. It's a bit of a non-event. In fact, I don't actually charge my clients for doing their VAT returns, because really it's a nothing event. So it's very, very different. And that's been borne out this week. I got the most amazing testimonial from a client of mine this week, which has really put a smile on my face. I've splashed it everywhere. LinkedIn, Facebook, it's everywhere.
So I haven't seen that because I've had a bit of a busy week. Tell us about that testimonial.
So he's basically said I was a star, and that he's not known so much about his financials in his business since he started his business, and I've got him through a very tough period, which just, for me, that's why I get out of bed in the morning.
Do you think that traditional accountants who just do the tax stuff are going to survive if everything's digitized?
I think they are shifting, and they are making the change. It's a difficult change to make, and it's a bit of a mindset change as well. You've got to think differently about your clients, because traditionally it's just been compliance, hasn't it? And now we're shifting from that compliance, and I think they will. There are signs of improvement. So, for example, I saw there was something on Facebook that I saw Raffingers have gone for profit first. So profit first is something I'm very passionate about. I haven't gone for profit first professional, but it's certainly on my bucket list to do. Strange thing to put on a bucket list, I know, but it ticks my boxes.
Yeah. And talk to me about what you do with your testimonials. So are they normally written? Are they normally, because we're doing a body of work at Savannah at the minute where we're end of November recording a lot of our clients talk about the service we deliver to them, which is going to be sort of shown on the website and sort of spread all over sort of online. So help me understand a little bit about sort of, because you did some video testimonials. How did that go?
I did. So I've got one amazing video testimonial from a client, and sadly I haven't managed to record any others, but I've got some clients that I really have got on the list to start recording testimonials because they are so great for everything, for websites, for social media, and it's a great experience for the client as well. You make it something that's nice, you send them a little gift to say thank you, so it is nice. The video one was done by a lady called Melanie Franklin. She's got quite a reputation, and having her seal of approval effectively is great. She's a lady I've worked with for a long time. I really admire her, and we did probably about 40 minutes worth of chat, which we split into 3 interviews, or 3 clips rather, which have gone out over social media. And I mean, doing more.
What I liked about that video is that also allowed Melanie to promote what she does and use it on your platform. So it's a win-win, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and thank you as well for being one of the superstars in our HMB video when we filmed the event at Jackson's. Really appreciate that. That was really good. Again, I'm not paying you to say nice stuff, so I appreciate it. Thanks, Sharon. Really appreciate that. Carol, talk to me about what's going on in your world work-wise.
For those of you that don't know me, we are, well, as I mentioned, a leaflet distribution company. We cover Romford and Hornchurch, and yeah, just lots going on at the moment. Really, we offer design, of leaflets, banners, all that kind of thing. But we haven't done any design for quite a while, and now it's gone pretty busy. We've got a pub in Hornchurch that didn't really know where to start, but they're serving food morning, noon, and night, so they needed something to go out and through doors and let people know that they're there. That's the Checkers pub, which is on that middle bit past Emerson Park Station. I'm brilliant at describing where places are, so we'll carry on.
Where is it? On the middle bit, right?
The middle bit. Yeah, you need to do that. We've got, as always, we've got our estate agents. We're turning them away. There's just so many, and they know that the leaflets work for them. So it's quite a strange thing to be turning people away.
I mean, it's an interesting. The estate agent business is an interesting one because I suppose. I don't know. You'll probably have more of an insight than me, to be honest. But have they found themselves in a bit of a lull after the stamp duty exemptions, or is their market as busy as ever?
It's just going crazy. Places is just getting, as long as they're priced right, they're just getting snapped up. I had a lady on the phone the other day who wants us to leaflet actually the area where we live, saying, "I want to buy your house." She's not an estate agent. She's just a homeowner, and she needs to buy a house. And so it's just, and she was saying it's going crazy. She's turning up at open houses and you can't get through the door. So yes, it's not going anywhere.
So she's not using an estate agent. She's just got a personal campaign to buy a house in your area. She's using leaflets to do it. Interesting.
But and loads and loads. I was doing my usual, having a look at what leaflets I've got to show you, and there's so much retail. First, this isn't retail, this is an estate agent, but these guys have just signed up to the Facebook page, Oakmont, and they've got this amazing deal at the moment. So these are going out everywhere. But look at all this retail. This is just 1 week. Pound Shop in South Street, Romford. Designer Warehouse in Collier Row. What can I call it? Organic Store in Gideon Park. North Street Carpets and Beds, that's North Street, Romford. And these guys that come back every year who are just amazing, and they're in Harold's Wood this year. They've got a permanent shop now, I believe. And they can get all your fireworks from them. So just loads and loads and loads. Oh,
it sounds busy. And how I know we saw each other earlier in the week at the Haven Chamber of Commerce Expo. How did that go for you?
It was so good. We had, as you saw, to let everyone else know, we had a table there. We were displaying our wares, and we had a competition and everything, and that went really well. As Lisa mentioned, we had our 15-year-old daughter helping us out. We've all branded up, so check it out on social media because we're on there in our outfits. And it was just so good to see her going up to people and asking them to enter the competition. And we've got a competition winner, so they're going to be getting design, print and distribution leaflets. So it's a great prize, and it just had such a great night.
Amazing. Glad it went well. Thanks for that, Carol. Appreciate that. Christine, talk to me about what's going on in your world work-wise.
Good morning, everyone, again. So I'm Christine from Perfect Layout Digital Marketing. So we're website designers here in Romford. And we kind of have our strapline that we're website designers who care. And what that means is we're not your average website design agency that will build a site and just leave you to it. We actually want to see your business get found on page 1 in Google, and we'll take those steps to help you get there. So it's all about the copy. It's all about the keywords that people are using to find your business. Whereas my own personal experience, having built many websites in the corporate world, is that many agencies will come and just go, yeah, we'll do what you want. And then sometimes you're left kind of feeling, yes, I've got a nice, pretty product, but it's not always working as effectively as it needs to be. So that's what Tracy and I do, is kind of really making sure that we're tweaking and working, because it's not always right the first time, and things change. So we want to be on that journey with you. And so we're doing that quite well. And at the moment, business is picking up again. We had we had a busy kind of spring, summer, then went a little bit quiet, but things are kind of now, the cogs are turning again, and there's new projects on the horizon. So it's looking good.
Cool. And tell me a bit about what business owners don't get right with their websites, and what are the common general mistakes that you see when you're doing a review?
Yeah, so we do a website health check, and what we're looking at in that is, first of all, is I don't know your business name, but I need your service. So normally, like, you're looking for a plumber in Romford or an accountant in Havering, and so what are those terms that you put? But you've got to put various, because Carol might put accountant Romford, you might put Romford accountant. So those words have to be on your site, actually physically on the page,
in that order,
to pick up in that order, ideally in that order. So if your website only says accountant Romford rather than Romford accountant, or accountant in Romford, because they'll pick up those keywords, when you've got an exact match, you get pushed up. If you've got it separated, so you've got accountant here but Romford a couple of words down, it will see those two words separately, but you've got less priority because you haven't matched that keyword phrase.
Gotcha.
So it's using the variety of keywords. Another important thing is, in the back end of your website, you've got a thing called a page title and a meta description. So when you look on a search result, so you put in accountant in Romford, you get those results that come up. The blue line that you hyperlink to get to that page is your page title. You've got to have keywords in there as well. And then the description that is underneath that is your description from your meta description or page description. And again, you want to have keywords in your location if you're a service-based business in that, because again, when a visitor is putting those terms in, it's those exact matches that then make you relevant, that push you to the top.
Amazing, so great tips.
It's an art and a science and a headache.
I was going to ask what bit is art, what bit is science, and what bit is headache, but that might be going down a rabbit hole that we haven't got time for. But
yeah, maybe not today, but yeah, it's fun. And that's it. That's what has to be ongoing all the time. Is even yesterday I was on another networking call, and I was going to pull us up as an example, and I spotted something. I thought, oh my goodness, that's so obvious. And on our own site, we'd missed something, or could you look at it with a kind of a particular frame of mind? So when you look at that frame of mind, that bit makes sense. But then you kind of go, okay, well, I'm looking at it from this point of view today. And you think, well, that's not quite there. So I did a little tweak on a few pages.
I suppose the other thing particularly about SEO, and we've had this conversation before, at Savello, we're not overly concerned about SEO because of the nature of our business. But I suppose the search engines, and Google in particular, because that's the main one, change all the time, don't they, in terms of what's relevant and what's not? And how do you keep pace with that?
It's just by monitoring it, and that's why we do with our clients a monthly report, is we just kind of look at those keywords and see where they are. And if we spot something that suddenly dropped, we'll monitor that just for a couple of months, because it could be just on that particular day. It's kind of, for some reason, the algorithms have changed and it's dropped, but then the following month it goes back up again. But if we see consistently that something's not working anymore, then we'll just do a little revision on that page to see if that can kind of then improve their rankings going forward. So it's just keeping an eye on things, which, with your business, sadly, you've got lots of plates to spin, and your website and your SEO is one of them.
Yeah.
But in your example, while you don't need the clients for an SEO point of view, but they might, somebody might go, oh, sugar, how do you spell Savello again? Oh, I'm going to do financial planner in Romford, and Savello will come up and I'll recognize it. So even if they do that and you're not on the first page,
Yeah, it's maintaining relevance,
reputationally,
isn't it? Yeah,
yeah.
no, I get that. Completely get that. All right, thanks, Christine. Really appreciate that.
Okay.
Paul,
Can I chip in there for just 2 seconds?
who's can?
So now that Carol's spoken, there's something I want to shout out to the world. Collaborations within Havering is amazing. So I'm working on something with both Carol and Christine, and that's come through collaborations from networking groups like this, which is just so powerful.
Yeah, 100%. You know what? I think, and it's not only Havering Means Business, I know that, but when we look at the amount of collaborations that go on in our community, it's fantastic. And, let's be honest, that might have happened without Havering Means Business anyway, but hopefully we've contributed to just building those relationships, building connections, and just making those networks closer. So, yeah, absolutely, Sharon.
I think it does, because when you see somebody at one networking group, there's a spark. When you see them at different groups and you're having different conversations and the different groups are run quite differently, that then brings a bit more glue to it almost.
100%, completely agree. And I think if there's a win out of doing all of this, for me, it's seeing people work together. That's what gives me a real buzz. So thank you for mentioning that. I really appreciate it. Paul, talk to me about what's going on in your world work-wise.
Yeah, by all means, Chris. So just to kick off, just in case people don't know who I am, it's Paul from a business called Synergy Commercial Finance, and I suppose in the main I work with medium-sized businesses, and for me it's all about helping them obtain the right finance for their business at the right time and the right price. Excuse me. Now everyone's going to know and understand what a residential mortgage broker does. Well, effectively I do the same thing, but I obtain obviously finance for businesses rather than residential properties. And what type of borrowings do I become involved in? It's literally anything and everything that a business needs. And I suppose it's almost the A to Z of finance, I say, which is from asset finance, bridging loans, commercial mortgages, right through to that one person somewhere who wants finance to buy their zoo. I'm sure they're out there and I'll find them. So it's anything on the business side, Chris. And how's things been going? Well, it's been interesting, I suppose. Obviously, going back, like everyone else, the pandemic's hit my business when the government rightly came out and offered CBILS loans, bounce back loans, etc. And I was just reading something this morning, they reckon fraudulent government funding applications are hovering around the 8% mark, which is probably around 5 or 6 billion at the moment. But I know through contacts with liquidators and receivers that where a company's been put into one of those two scenarios, they're doing a lot of research as to what government funding they took, the state of the company when they took the funding, tracking back where the money went, etc., etc. So I think people are may have a little bit of a shock, which will be nice for us taxpayers in a way. Hopefully we haven't got to pay all this fraudulent money back. How's it been going? I suppose because it's so turbulent, the sector, it really is up and down. But this week has been a good week for me. Inquiries, and I've got out to a number of clients what we call indicative pricing from different lenders, and it's been a variety of things. For example, I've had limited company wanting to buy a flat above a fish and chip shop. Okay, people like lending on flats, but once you've got the scenario where there's noise and smell that might affect the value of the property, might affect the tenant, it's not so easy to find a lender to become involved. So I was pleased I've got someone to help on that. I've got an accountancy practice who's looking to buy their own freehold premises, and I've got a lender that will consider doing 80% loan to value. Market is normally 70%. This lender said 80, they might even stretch to 85. So that's good news. And I think that's also a sign that lenders are slowly creeping back into the marketplace again. They're tipping their toe back in the water, which is good.
Paul, can I ask a quick question? You know when you were talking about the sort of flat above the fish and chip shop?
Yeah.
So that's not counted as a traditional residential mortgage. That's...
No, sorry, I didn't elaborate fully. That's going to be let out, so it's going to be a buy to let.
Right.
So it'll be a buy to let in a company name.
Yeah.
But again, because of where it is, people don't like lending on it. I've also had an inquiry which I've got some pricing out on where someone wants to buy their freehold premises for their pension fund.
Yeah.
And the other one which I've just put pricing out on yesterday was it was a first time limited company buying a flat which is going to be rented out. But the thing there was, the guy came to me, I said, sorry, I recognise your name. Why do I recognise your name? He said, well, my family approached you 2 years ago and unfortunately the deal never came off. And I know there was a few problems with the property and I just sort of left it at that. And I thought, I'll do a bit of research when he's gone. And at Company's House, you can see who's lent the money when they got a debenture in place. So I found out, well, actually, they went back to one of the lenders I originally located for them, which is their choice, it's fine. But the frustrating thing is, when I've looked at when they've done that to what's out in the marketplace, I could have saved them in excess of 1.5% per annum on over £1 million worth of debt.
Yeah.
And you think, well, why didn't you pick the phone up to me? Even if it's only for me to say, sorry, I can't help you. It becomes a bit frustrating because you're looking to help and support these people. You feel like you've created a good relationship with them. And I spent months on this case, 6-7 months, which never went anywhere, but that's life. You just think, well, why didn't you come back?
Look,
Same for them.
I think the interesting thing, and it's a conversation we've had before, I know, and one that, you know, in professional services you have quite a lot, value versus cost in terms of the value that we believe that we add to the clients. I suppose it's up to us to just, you know, explain how we think we add value and let people make an independent choice, right? I mean, it's really interesting. So it doesn't happen a lot, but I had a client a few weeks ago where we'd, you know, had a really good discovery meeting. I felt the relationship went well, gave them a scope of work and said, this is what we're going to do. It wasn't particularly expensive charge, but we felt that we could add loads of value. And they said, look, you're too expensive. And I was like, compared to what?
Yeah.
Compared to what? Compared to doing nothing and, you know, keeping the money in the bank and getting 0.5%, particularly with inflation looking at going up as it was reported yesterday. You know, I think, and again, that was my failure, not theirs, because I hadn't articulated the value enough, or it just wasn't right. But yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah. But I mean, the message is lenders are slowly coming back out to play, which is nice. But they are, especially the high street banks, they're still conservative. But those older ones amongst us have seen it all before, and we'll see it all again. Whatever sector you're in, goes down, it comes back, and that's
all in cycles, mate. All in cycles. Thanks, Paul. Really appreciate that. Nadine, tell me about what's going on in your world work-wise.
Oh gosh, as you know, lots of things. So I don't know if many of you know on here, but I work with the team here. We're working on an amazing expo that we're going to be running for Havering Means Business in March the 15th. So that happened this week. So that's really exciting, isn't it, Chris?
It is, yeah. Well, as long as we get confirmation from the venue, we're just waiting for them to properly confirm. And I think that the proposal I've put to them is pretty fair. So yeah, I don't anticipate there being any issues with that. But yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, so I can't wait to get going on that and getting people booked in for that. Then obviously I have a wellbeing business that a couple of you on here I don't know. So yeah, I have a wellbeing business and I do lots of talks at events. And a lady phoned me up yesterday about an event that I'm booked in to talk at in a couple of weeks' time, a ladies' luncheon group, and she said, "Oh, well, you need a projector or a microphone?" And I'm like, "No, I'll just talk. I normally just talk." I said, "Well, how many people are going to be there?" She went, "Oh, there's going to be 65." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I better have a microphone then." So now I'm panicking that I'm going to need 65 catalogues of everything, and it's going to have bags of catalogues to give out to everyone, because I sell so for those that don't know, I do magnetic jewelry. So I talk a lot about the power of magnets and how magnets can help for your well-being, for pain, anxiety, lots of different things. So they're amazing products. And I also do tropics. So last night I did an event actually in aid of Teens Unite, which was in High Beach. And it cost me £50 to be there. And literally up until 9:30, I didn't take a single penny. And then, of course, as I was packing up, I then had to unpack because everyone was there. And I was the last to leave the venue at like 11:15 last night. It was crazy.
Why did it go so busy so late?
Well, I think it was the stall holders that didn't get to look around. The people coming in through the door weren't really spending money.
Gotcha.
And then the stall holders didn't get a chance to look around. And then because I still have my banner up that says all the different ailments that my products can help with, they all came running over to me at the end.
Yeah, amazing.
So, so that was good.
I suppose that's the underestimated factor with a lot of these expos, isn't it? It's that, if you've got, I don't know if you found this, Carol, when you were at the Havering Chamber one, there's potential cross collaboration with the businesses that have got the stalls in the room. Did you find that? Because you potentially got clients there, Carol, right?
Yes, yeah, we had quite a bit of interest, as you say, from other people with actual stands there. So yeah, it's just a case of, I guess, people that are maybe on their own didn't get a chance to walk around, as Nadine said, but most people had quite a few behind the tables there, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it was good to see. It was busy on the stalls. So yeah, really, thank you, Nadine, for mentioning.
And then obviously I was at Havering Means Business for my other job, which is I work for Vision magazine now, part-time. So selling the advertising within the magazine that goes out to.
And how did
areas.
How did the expo go for you?
Yeah, it was brilliant. We got some great connections, but you needed, like you just said there, you needed more than one person on your stand if you wanted to go around, because again, lots of our clients had stalls, stands, so we had to sort of get about. So and that's the problem when you're on your own. Like Carol just said, like me last night on my own on a stand, I didn't get to walk around, so I didn't get to talk to the other stall holders, which I love to be able to do, because those that know me, I love to talk.
I didn't want to say, to be honest, I thought it'd be rude. And yeah, really excited about the expo. So keep an eye out for that on the community soon. Will be one as soon as I've got the announcement from the venue. We'll start promoting that. We're going to have anybody who knows or has come to see me at the CME Centre knows that we've got sort of the exhibition venue plus the pod, which is a amazing speaking venue that we're going to have guest speakers at. So we've got big plans in terms of that coming up. But if you've got any thoughts or you'd like to get involved, please get in touch with Nadine, because she'll be doing most of the organisation on that. So thank you, really appreciate that.
And we're looking for obviously some keynote speakers. So if anyone's got any ideas for talks, to draw people in, that would be great.
What I'd be really interested in as a community is just seeing what would benefit you most as a business owner. So who would you like to hear from at the expo that would mean that you'd be there? So if you can let me know, that'd be brilliant. Lisa, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. My children have now left, so Nevy's hilarious. She like I've said before, she wants to be involved because she literally circles around me there just for me to. So I think as soon as she's old enough, then she'll be networking for herself.
Neve's beads has got to be a thing, right?
Yeah, she's funny, but yeah.
Anyway. Do you think? Because I look at my two girls, and I think Sophie's probably the more, business minded than Charlotte. Charlotte's quite academic and sort of knows what she wants to do and stuff like that. But Sophie's a bit more sort of assertive and entrepreneurial and stuff. Do you think kids are different just naturally different?
Yeah, I mean, I've got minor twins, aren't they? So I've got Elliot, who he was here as well, but he'd never come on camera. He'd never, he's just not that interested. I don't know if I've told this story before, but over I think it was Easter last year, Neve started one of her businesses. It was a cleaning company that she kindly put my phone number on. So if anyone wanted any services, so she'd made all these individual leaflets. I should have put her in touch with Carol really, but I didn't particularly want to start this business. Anyway, I was at work, and obviously within care, it's been hard, right? So we were quite busy, and it was Easter. And so she called me and she said, "Mum, I just got something to tell you." This was a voicemail, by the way. "You're fired." you don't really listen to my ideas, you don't respond quick enough, so I'm actually going to have to fire you. And I was like, I'm so grateful that I got sacked, because she's the hardest employer that I've ever had. Yeah, she was on at me the whole time. Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? So she's got the art of delegation down to a T. So I think that's maybe one skill that she will never need to learn.
Exactly, job done. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and a hire and fire quickly. Clearly, even no emotional connection.
My face not fit, and I was gone. So she's ruthless as well.
Did she get any clients from the cleaning business?
Thankfully, no. Thankfully, no. And I think, you know, with it, she's probably a little bit like me, really likes that kind of start-up, exciting phase, and then the real work has to kick in. So that's usually when the business, you know, goes into liquidation. So
there'll be one that, and I think it'll be Need Speeds, to be honest, Lisa. I'm plugging that on the community. Literally, is it going to cause you hassle if I plug it on HMB?
No, I can send you the details. I think she'll probably just want to do what you're doing, though, Chris. She'll probably oust you in a few years. She'll want to take over.
I'll be ready then. I'll be ready to go. All right. Tell us. I mean, we've plugged Neve quite a lot, but can you tell us a little bit about Redfield?
Yeah. So of course. So we look after older people across the community, mainly in Hornchurch and Upminster. And our kind of focus at the moment is building our care team, because obviously within care, relationships, communication are the most important things, really. And we try to build sort of relationships between our care staff and our clients, because that's, you know, when people get the most benefit from the care that we have. So we're really focused on kind of recruitment, but recruiting the right candidates for the role. So we was at the job centre actually yesterday and did an event there, which we had a few people come and talk to us.
I saw that. How'd it go?
Yeah, really good, actually. They're so lovely at the job centre, and they're really obviously keen to support people into roles. So yeah, they were really helpful. And then we're going to Dunelm to do a stall in not this Saturday, the following Saturday. So we're going to be sort of down there. I think we just want to get a little bit out and about in the community so we can tell people, you know, what we do and what we're all about, really. So yeah.
And in terms of working in the job centre, was that sort of arranged via sort of Kickstart, or was it just independent of Kickstart? What way did you go with that?
So Andrea, who does our recruitment, is just got a kind of a relationship with somebody there at the job centre. So she would speak to them and just say, like, we're interested in coming. Interestingly, they were saying they're inundated with care providers that want to be there, because I think there is it's no big shock.
There's a gap.
There's a recruitment challenge within the sector. Lots of people are trying to recruit. So I think what we're just trying to do is make sure that we stand out as an employer. Yeah. We want to be seen ultimately as an employer of choice. I think, you know, we have got a lot going for us in terms of the way we run our business and the way we kind of treat the people that we work with. So I think, but for us, it's maybe just trying to get that message out there a little bit more, so that people kind of go, oh, I've heard of Radfield. They're a good employer.
They're a place to be. Yeah.
So I think that's what we're trying to do, and obviously trying to live up internally to that as well, right? Make sure we are doing all those things and being who we say we are, which, you know, clearly is really important. So
you know what I mean, we've had this conversation on the community before. You know, I come from a corporate world, sort of. I say I come from a corporate world. I've run a business now for 10 years. It feels like I've never been employed, but I come from a world where, you know, big corporations, I always felt that sort of, and I know that, you know, we've had that conversation, Lisa, about you've worked for big businesses that did live by their values. My like sort of previous experience was that I worked for bigger businesses that actually didn't live by their values a lot, and that's why it's so important for me running a family business to live by what I believe is right, you know, and what I try and teach my kids. It's and you're right, you don't live up to that every day, you know, you have bad days sometimes.
It's a constant, but if you don't aspire to be it, you'll never be it. So I think that's kind of our aspiration, and we work hard on that all the time, really.
Yeah.
And I think within care it's hard because everybody sort of says the same thing. We want to treat people like family. Like, to convey what you do is in words is easy, but I think it's the actions that support what you actually do in the world is what's the kind of most important thing. So we try and live and breathe what we say we do on a daily basis, really. So, you know, I think that, you know, focusing on the community, getting people out and about, just doing nice things is you know, really what we're all about. So we'll carry on doing that, and hopefully that will help us stand out a bit more as an employer, and therefore be able to kind of support more people within the community and create more jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, spot on. Before we move on to Terry, just a quick sort of hello to everybody who's watching on Facebook at the minute. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. Please give us a little wave and a comment just to make sure that we know you're there and we can give you a shout out. Terry, tell us a little bit about, firstly, welcome to HMB virtual meeting. First time you've been. Welcome to the community and to the premium community. I saw you join the other day. Tell us a bit about you and your business.
So firstly, apologies for not having the video on. As I said, I'm in the middle of doing a bathroom refit, and my office is a bath store at the moment, so I'm not prepared to share that with anyone.
Well, I mean, I'd love to see an immaculately tiled office, to be honest.
I'm not working in the bathroom. Working on the bathroom.
I wonder what the echo was.
So my company's called ITF Tech. We're based in the Semi Centre. So we're a neighbour of Chris now, and Havering Men's Business. We're a managed IT service provider, which basically means we look after people's computers. We've been running for 6 years as ITF Tech. Prior to that, we were two separate IT service companies. My company was called IT Flex. My business partner, Paul Willis, his company was called Thames Tech. We've worked together on and off for a long time on different projects. And I'd actually known Paul, or I've known Paul for over 30 years, on and off. So we kind of grew up in the same area. But yeah, so 6 years ago, we were working on the same project. We realised that we were trying to basically go for a bigger contract. We realised it made sense to kind of join forces. So that's what we did, and we've been doing that ever since. That's what we do as a managed IT service provider. It is more than just looking after computers, to be really honest. It's about making sure that the business IT continues to work for our customers. Obviously, you guys know it's really, really important these days to have good IT, good technology, and so on. So we provide sort of managed PC and server support. We can provide telephony, internet access, data networking. The big thing at the moment for us is cybersecurity. It's such a scary thing at the moment with ransomware and phishing attacks, and we have some horror stories where people have come to us because they've just been scammed out of tens of thousands of pounds. And you read this stuff, but when you actually stand face to face talking to someone who's experienced it and who's lost that money, it's horrifying. So that's kind of what we're doing at the moment. We're really trying to focus on getting the message across on cybersecurity.
What in terms of being vulnerable to either ransomware or phishing attacks, what steps can people take practically to make sure that they're less liable?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is education, is kind of knowing that the threat is out there, and making sure that your staff know that as well. So, basic cyber security training. Don't click things. Don't assume anything. If you get an email from someone and you think it's strange or odd, don't open it up. Don't click on the links. Don't run anything that's in there. And then I guess really just make sure you've got decent antivirus or anti-malware software installed. there are products that will check your emails, make sure that, that there's nothing dangerous in the emails and the links in the emails. So that's always a good thing. Most of these things are not particularly expensive. Phishing is a massive thing at the moment. So those products sort of come into their own on that. Simple things like maybe turning off autoplay on a USB port on your PC, so that if someone does plug something in and there's a program on there that some of them do sort of set themselves to auto run, that it won't auto run, that it will prompt you to run it. It's little simple things like that. Changing passwords, regularly, or even better, using a password manager. So all your passwords are in one secure, safe vault.
See, my assumption with that is that potentially created a risk, because then everything's in one place. Is that not true? I mean, is that just a
potentially? One of the things that is it's out there. You can't, I sometimes laugh about it. You kind of feel you need a password manager
for your password manager. Yeah.
But the thing is, what we kind of recommend is, with that master password, like, memorize it, write it down, put it in an envelope, put it in the safe.
Yeah.
And then, if you do forget it, then at least, or something bad happens, at least someone else can get access to it. So, but you're right. Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one there. But yeah, I mean, password managers definitely the way forward now. A lot of people store their passwords in their browser, like Chrome and so on. And it's useful, and it's a quick and easy way of logging onto all the sites and that you access. But that can be potentially risky as well. If someone does manage to get hold of your computer or get onto your computer, they can quite easily go in there and pull that information out of there.
Amazing. All right. Thanks, Terry. Really appreciate that. And welcome to your first ever HMB networking meeting. I really appreciate you coming along.
Thank you very much.
Sarah, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you.
Good.
Yeah. Glad it's Friday.
It is Friday. Apart from one client call today, I'm off today, which is amazing. And I've got I had an exam yesterday that I passed, so I've got literally one more to get to fellowship. Now Cassie winds me up because she reckons that when I get to fellowship, do they give me a special ring? And they don't, Sarah. I mean, like, you don't get a ring. You get a certificate, but you don't. But so I've got one more. Yeah, I know. I need to lobby the Chartered Insurance Institute to get that sorted. But thank you for coming along and joining us on Avery Means Business. I'm really pleased and proud to say that we do a decent amount of work together in a bunch of different ways. So I wanted to make sure that you got to share the amazing work you do with everybody. So tell everybody who you are and take it away.
Thank you. So is this where you want me to share my slides as well?
Please.
Yeah, okay, right, let me do that first, and then because it's got my intro and everything on it. Right, let me just do this. Me and Russ did join early to check that it's working. Oh, I think it is. Can everybody see that?
To be honest, Russ, I need to make sure Russ joins less early, because the time he told us this morning, what is he doing for his life? He needs to do something early. He needs to go for a walk or something. But sorry, I'll let you carry on.
Yeah, I joined 10 minutes early. I think Russ had joined 10 hours early. No, anyway, okay, yeah, thanks, Chris. So I'm Sarah Steele, and my company is Better With Money. And we provide financial education in the workplace to really help people to understand their personal finances with the aim of reducing money stress. Now, I'll give you a little bit of background. So Better With Money, sadly, I didn't set up myself. I wish I had, because I love everything that it stands for. It was actually set up by a lovely lady called Jo Thresher back in 2016. And she had worked in corporate financial services for many years, and she had correctly identified that at that point financial well-being was becoming a bit of a buzzword, And, you know, we absolutely know that people need financial education because we very rarely get it at home through our parents, unless our parents understand finances. And it doesn't really get a focus in most school curriculums, mainly because there's too much else that they need to focus on. And sometimes the teachers don't have that experience or knowledge to pass on the financial education down to the students. And so the kind of companies that had started doing financial education tended to be those organizations who had a product to sell. So it might be the banks who were ultimately trying to get you to sign up with their bank accounts. It might have been the wealth managers who, you know, might have given you some good education, but really just wanted you to buy their pension or their ISA or just to get their money on platform. And so Jo said, I've had enough of this. Financial education is for everybody. It's not there to push a product. So she set up Better with Money to provide that financial education primarily through the workplace, directly into corporates who would then pay for that to provide that to their employees, which is what happened. She set it up. She left the corporate world. She set it up. Really sadly, Jo became very ill. A couple of years ago, she got diagnosed with the pancreatic cancer, and she knew that she'd had all the treatment that she could and that she wasn't able to carry on running the business, but she didn't want to leave it there. She wanted it to carry on. And I just feel very fortunate that we were introduced by a mutual friend, because this mutual friend knew that I'd been working in the corporate world for over 20 years, and I'd been working with businesses to help them set up their pension plans for their employees. I'd help them to set up their employee benefits, so their healthcare, their death in service schemes. But actually, the bit of the job that I always loved was when I could go into those companies and talk to those individuals and employees about, how does my pension plan work, and why am I saving for a pension, or, you know, what does death in service scheme really mean? I liked that people interaction. So our friend had sort of set me and Jo up, and she said, I think Sarah might be somebody that could take this business forward, because also I'd got really fed up with the internal politics of working in a large business as well. And we just hit it off. We got on like a house on fire. I loved everything she did. I loved what Better with Money stood for. So after just a few months of the legals and all those lovely things you have to do, I took the business on. I think we actually signed on the dotted line on the 13th of March 2020, Friday the 13th, and I should have guessed, because about 3 days later we went into lockdown. And so I found myself with a business that did primarily face-to-face education going into workplaces, and I thought, oh God, I need to do something here. And so I phoned up a client who we were due to go and see the following week, and I said, look, we obviously can't come in and talk to your employees, so how about we do a webinar? I was totally winging it, which is the story of my life. And they said, yeah, that's good, let's do a webinar. And I said, great, well, you know, we'll use your webinar system. They were quite a big client, and they said, oh no, we don't have a webinar system, we'll use yours. I was like, oh, okay. So overnight I had to research and buy a webinar system, which I did. And really, I mean, I'll go into more detail, but what we do is we've developed all of the face-to-face courses we changed into webinars. We make sure that all of our courses and our topics cover everybody. So not just those people who might want to know about how to budget or dealing with their debt. We want to help those people who maybe have a bit of extra money, who want to know how to save or invest that money. We want to help the younger people who are saving for a house. We want to help the older people who are saving for retirement and want to know that. So we really try and have a full range of financial education across the piece. And we don't just do webinars, we are now starting to get back face-to-face. We also do one-to-one clinics. We have some clients where they ask us to do webinars for all of their employees, but then we also do a day a month where employees can just log on for half an hour, book an appointment and talk to us about anything personal finance related. So that's what we do in a nutshell. But why is it so important? You know, I touched on the fact that we don't really get financial education as children, or a lot of us aren't lucky enough. But why is it that companies are prepared to pay for this stuff for their employees? Are they just doing it because they're really, really kind? some are, absolutely. But if we look at a few stats, we can see that back in 2019-20, there are actually nearly 18 million sick days taken in the UK because of stress and anxiety. And actually the biggest cause of stress and anxiety is because people worry about money. And it might just be that they don't have enough money to even get the bus to go to work. And therefore, having financial worries not only affects our personal life and our relationships, but actually it can have a massive impact on work and productivity at work. Because if you're worried about other things, your head's not in the game, you're not working properly. And that is why a lot of employers now have started setting aside, well, not just wellbeing budgets, and a lot of that came to the fore during COVID, you know, really thinking about the mental well-being of your and physical well-being and emotional well-being of your employees, but they set aside money to train their employees on things like finances, because they know ultimately it's going to improve the productivity and the motivation of the employees. And if you look after your employees, they become more loyal, they don't leave, and you retain them, and all of those lovely things. Aon, a company I used to work for, actually, they did a survey during COVID, and 2/3 of employees have said this is something we really want to know more about. And if you can educate people, they become happier, more productive. So just a little bit more, there's my lovely face up there. I mean, when we do webinars, this was just a screenshot from one we did, sadly, over the summer, because there were lots of companies who had to make their employees redundant. You know, the jobs weren't there, they couldn't do them from home. I mean, one of the clients we worked with was John Lewis, who had to shut a lot of their stores and decided to restructure. So one of the webinars we put together was, what are the financial things we need to think about when we're being made redundant, or when our role is being made redundant? That's a really important note. And what we try to do for our employers that use us is to just make it as admin easy as possible when we're providing this financial education, because employers don't want to be make it difficult for themselves. So we do all of the setup, we provide the link, we get people signing up onto our webinar platform, but importantly we also give employers lots of information around how many people clicked the link, how many people were interested in joining, how many people did join. But at the end of the sessions we also do an employee survey, which really surveys that individual on what topics they want to hear about. Did they find it useful? Is it something that they can action? So that the employers can start to build up some management information and some ideas as to what that financial education programme should look like going forward. Here's just a list of some of the type of topics that we talk about. I'm really sorry, Chris, but I've just realised that our session isn't on there. But I need to add that on. So
I'm masking my disappointment right now, Sarah, but I'll let you off.
Thank you. Because actually, and this is a good thing, one thing I found about becoming a business owner is sometimes you get so embroiled in doing the client work, of course, and you want to do a great job, is that sometimes you don't have the time or the headspace to really think, what should I be doing next for my business? And last Christmas, I had a bit of time out. I had 2 weeks because people weren't in the offices. They didn't want this education. And it suddenly dawned on me, why am I doing all of these courses all by myself? I mean, I have a certain amount of financial knowledge, but actually there's, back to this collaboration point, there are so many people out there who have specialisms in certain things. And Chris is a prime example of that. You know, he deals with individuals and their finances every day, and actually he's got a lot of knowledge around people who have got money and what can they do with that. You know, once they're maxing out on their pensions and maxing out on their ISAs, what should they be doing next? So I actually said to Chris, could we do a joint webinar? Could we do one around you know, what people should be doing if they're high earners? And that's worked brilliantly. We all know Chris is great and helped me to kind of shape some slides and a webinar, and we've now delivered that a few times, haven't we, to various employers. And I partner with another guy whose whole business is about teaching kids about money. I've just partnered with a company who specialise in finance on divorce. So we now have a divorce webinar. And yesterday, really excitingly, I spoke to a lady who invests in property. And so we're going to do a webinar, kind of the beginner's guide to investing in property, because really, as I said, we're trying to get all these topics that appeal to everybody, not just those people who maybe are starting out.
I know he's not a member of this community because he's based over in the Far East, but I want to just give Will a bit of a shout out because his book's just come out. Yes. And the education, some of his blogs talking about educating your kids about money, I think are pretty useful for adults too, to be perfectly frank, because the way he explains financial concepts is quite smart.
Yeah, so this is a guy, he used to be an actuary, he used to work in London. He decided him and his wife wanted to go travelling with their 2 young children. So they now live out in Vietnam, and he's set up this company all around how to teach your kids about money. And he does it through lots of stories. And his book got on Amazon last week. It's Grandpa's Fables. I've actually got it. I'll run and get it in a minute and show it. But brilliant. If you've got any children, you know, nieces, nephews, kids, godchildren, it's well worth getting for Christmas because it really does help them. It brings to life what about money is important, saving strategies and things like that. As I say, we also do the one-to-one. I'll skip through this. For people, and the other service that we've just started is we do work with quite a few charities who provide financial grants for people in hardship, but actually what the trustees need to know before awarding that is, why is that person in that situation that they need that financial grant? Is there anything that they can do as trustees to help? So they've brought us in to really have those one-to-ones with those individuals, to identify why they've got into that situation, if there's anything we can do to help them, but also then to report back to the trustees so they can make that decision about the grant. So we're really proud to be doing that work because we know that it's helping people in need. On our website, we've got loads of resources and calculators and blogs all about personal finance to help people out. So, you know, feel free to take a look at that. And importantly, it isn't just me. Within Better With Money, I have all of these lovely people who do the webinars as well. I mean, Alan there and Martin, case in point, you know, I don't feel that I can talk to people about retiring because it's not something I've done myself. Alan and Martin have part retired, so they do the courses about what it's like to transition both emotionally and financially to retirement. And so I've got different people with different specialisms all helping out doing these. Here's just a few of our clients. As I say, and this is a real focus for me for 2022, a lot of the companies that have the financial wellbeing budgets are the bigger clients. And that's great. And their employees need helping. But what I really want to focus on next year is finding a solution for smaller clients who maybe only have a few employees, because actually most employees in the UK work for smaller businesses, and I want to make sure that we can provide something that's affordable to them as well. So watch this space on that. Blow your own trumpet, but there's just a few comments there. You know, there's nothing better, back to Sharon's point, when you know you either get an individual or a company going, this is brilliant, this is exactly what we needed, it, you know, changed my life, or you know, we had one lady who did a one-to-one, and you know, on the face of it you'd have thought that she should have lots of money, she had a good salary, but she was about £50,000 in debt, and we managed to sit down with her and get a debt management plan in place that was affordable for her, and it has transformed her life. And it's things like that that make us get up every day and say we know that we're genuinely helping people. Now, I just thought, if it's okay, I've just got a few quiz questions just to get people involved. I'm not going to get you to shout it out, but these are just some of the sorts of information that we throw out there. So number one, on average, how many debt cases do you think the Citizens Advice Bureau dealt with every day in the year to the 30th of September? Has anybody got any ideas? Want to shout them out?
C.
Yeah.
C. Let me have a look. Yes, you're right, Chris. It was C. So basically, just the Citizens Advice Bureau alone, and they are just one of about 12 major debt charities in the UK. So they dealt with 700,000 cases where people are struggling with debt. And so as you can see, you know, anything we can do to help the population think about budgeting and debt is a good thing. Next thing, how much does it cost on average per day for a couple to raise a child from birth to the age of 18?
C.
Are we just going to go the
or
most
D.
expensive one
D.
standard?
It's more than that, isn't it?
D.
Well,
E.
Interestingly, the stats from the Money Charity say it costs £23 a day. Now that amounts to, for a child to the age of 18, £150,000. But I'm inclined to agree with you, Paul. If I've actually think about this, you know, we've got 4 kids, so it's no wonder I'm permanently like, where's my money gone? Yeah, I mean, I think for a lot of couples it would be nearer to C, but
well, you know, funny enough, Sarah, I've just done the maths because my assumption was 180k, so I had 27 quid.
So you're somewhere in between,
somewhere in the middle, be and a half.
You know, the point here is that a lot of the time we have one-to-ones with people who sound thinking of starting a family. What are the financial considerations I need to think about? Well, there's the first one right there. Just 2 more. Between March and September, how much did petrol prices go up by? Yeah. Any idea? You should just go with the normal answer. It is C. And that is why inflation is likely to hit around, I mean, that's relatively extreme, but it's about, I think they're predicting about 5% for this.
Yesterday, the prediction was 5%. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and petrol prices are certainly not going to be helping towards that. If you want to know the cheapest petrol in your area, sign up to petrolprices.com. You can tell the website within what area you're happy to travel to get your petrol, and it will tell you which forecourts are the cheapest. And how long does it take the average first-time home buyer to save for a deposit?
B, I reckon.
Just go C. It's 15 years. 15 years. And last year, the average house across the entire of the UK just got to £250,000. So, and the average deposit on houses are normally 20%. So that's a £50,000 deposit. Now, obviously, first-time home buyers can get 95% mortgages, but it still means that they need to be saving a good old £12,500. That is not easy when you just come out of maybe university or finish school and starting work. So we talk to people about strategies for that. So no, I just thought I'd do that just as a little aside. And there you go. Hopefully I didn't go too much over my 20 minutes. But
that was good. It was really good. One thing I've learned, and I'm sort of glad I didn't apply this for my test yesterday. You should always go, if in doubt, always go for C. That's
always go for C, yeah.
So I've got a couple of questions, and clearly, you know, we've worked together, and I know the business quite well. But one thing I don't know is what's the element that's the most, you know, in demand at the minute in terms of employers asking for support for their staff.
Yeah, so during the lockdown, we did put together a webinar around all of the things that employees could do, or all of the things that the government had put in place to help employees. So that was things at the time like the mortgage holidays, it was things like the stamp duty relief, it was things like the working from home tax relief, and everybody can still apply for that this year. Even if you only work from home one day in the entire year, you get tax relief on £6 of your earnings every week to pay for lighting, heating, and so it's just, so we put together a webinar rather than people having to trawl through the gov.uk website or the Martin Lewis website. We kind of tried to condense all of the useful stuff and put it into a webinar, and that was really well received. And now employers are saying, now we've got people back at work, people got used to potentially, well, employees came into 2 halves. You had those who were struggling financially because them or their families had been furloughed, lost their jobs, and income had reduced. You had the other half who were better off because they weren't traveling, they were being paid the same, they were working from home, didn't have the holidays. And a lot of employers now are saying, actually, we're worried that people have got used to having that extra money in their pocket, and now we're asking them to come back into the office and pay for that travel again. And so people might need a reminder now about the strategies they can put in place to budget. So sort of that budgeting after COVID recovery type stuff.
And getting used to expenses. Now you're commuting a bit more, and yeah, it's interesting.
Holidays and travel and cutting the cost of travel. So they're the sorts of things that are coming through at the moment.
Oh,
and obviously, oh, can I just mention two things before I forget? And I should have mentioned it as part of this. Next week is National Talk Money Week. So the Money and Pension Service run this every year because they've got a national financial wellbeing strategy to get more people to understand money and talk about money. And so we are providing 2 free webinars open to absolutely anybody next week. One is about the state pension explained, which I thought really boring. Is anybody going to sign up? We've got nearly 200 people signed up on that one. The other one was Fix My Festive Finances, which is all about budgeting for Christmas and not having the January hangover. And we've got about 60 on that. So that was the one I thought people were going to love. And actually we've got less. But I will, if it's all right with you, Chris, can I just send you the links to that? And anybody, whatever age, whoever, if you've got clients you want to send it on to, if you want to join up yourself, you can do that. And we
send it to us, and we'll make sure it goes on the community as well, Sarah.
Okay.
Anybody got any questions? Sharon.
So it's not a question, but I've got something that I'm working on that I can send to go out next week for National Talk Money Week, which is an ebook on cash flow for small businesses, which is this close to being finished.
Amazing, good stuff. All right, cool, good stuff. Any other questions?
I've just seen Nadine put in there that daughter started work this year and doesn't want to go in the office because it costs so much money, and it does. It costs a ridiculous amount, and particularly now when it's been proved that people can work from home. I think there's a lot to be said for going into the office and the collaboration and the socializing and learning from your peers and all of that. But actually, I know a lot of companies are almost, employers are demanding more money for now going back because they've got used to not, somebody's starting out. But Nadine, we do a webinar called Starting Out Right, which is about understanding your pay slip and why you pay tax and why you pay national insurance. So if your daughter, I could always send over a recording that we did for a client if she wanted to watch it. She obviously doesn't need to.
Thank you. Well, she's a trainee accountant, so hopefully she knows all about that.
You say that, but hopefully.
Yeah, no, that would be brilliant. Send it over to me, Sarah. My email, I think, is in the chat. Thank you.
I mean, I think sometimes the interesting thing is, and we find this with some of our clients, Nadine, that include accountants. Accountants are really good at what they do for businesses. Sometimes the element they miss is sometimes that personal financial planning, because actually, even though there's overlap, it requires a little bit of a different way of looking at things and skill set. So it's interesting.
I that's the one thing I've really learned is to never assume. Our clients say, she knows tackling debt. Should we just send that to our younger employers or employers? Like, no, because people spend to their means, and actually the people that we've spoken to with the biggest debt problems are those who are actually slightly older, who earn more money but maybe have had families and have struggled to pay for all the expenses that brings. So and actually one of the debt ones that we did that was the most attended was for a London city accountancy firm.
Interesting.
People were anonymously asking questions saying, I'm really worried that if I go to a debt charity, this is going to affect my regulation and career and all of that stuff. So,
and again, that difference between the perception of wealth and what actual wealthy people look like is a debate that we could have forever. But yeah, great. That was amazing. Thank you, Sarah. Really appreciate that.
It's the flip side of this. So I don't know if Chris I know knows, Carol knows. My son Josh has been working with me in the business, but we've come to a point now where young people need to be in a more vibrant setup. They don't need to be working from home. They need to be mixing with other people. They need to be out there doing that socializing thing, having that office interaction over the coffee, over the water, whatever it is. It is really tough for the youngsters when they're working on their own at home. So they may not want to travel, but for their mental health, I firmly believe it's better for them to travel.
Yeah, I think hybrid working is going to be the future. You know, I remember at the start of the pandemic, everybody said, "Oh, we're going to be working from home forever. This will be the new normal." We're humans, aren't we? We want that social interaction. You know, we don't want to be sort of communicating like this all the time. I think it just served its purpose, but now we move out. It's interesting. Anyway, we are coming to the end, and look, Carol's dying to tell me what her winning of the week is. So I want to make sure that we get time for that at the end of every Avery Means Business online meeting, and we will start today with Carol. So tell me about your big win of the week.
It's exciting for me, not for anyone else, but yeah, we're still on half term. Our school takes 2 weeks off the half term, so we're having a half day today, and we're going to go. There's a place in Romford, like a not-for-profit cafe place that's got table tennis tables, pool tables. So we're just going to go in there and play all that and drink milkshakes.
Amazing! Sounds really good. I went to Stabbers on Friday, which was pretty good, but also I tried caving. Never again. I'm never caving again. Sharon, talk to me about your big win of the week.
I'm with you on the caving. I tried that in, I think it was Dorset, Lulworth Cove. No, was it Lulworth Cove? I can't remember now. Sorry, people, menopause brain. It was down that neck of the country. Western Supermare, and I'd never do it again.
Yeah, I'll try anything once, but caving was just like, why am I in the dark, like on my belly, just trying to get through the. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And then the kids disappeared with a light, and I'm just a 44-year-old man lying in the dark trying to get out of this cave. It just wasn't a good look. Anyway, what's your win of the week?
I think my win of the week's got to be getting through and surviving back return deadline week, because this week was a hellish one.
Yeah, we've just submitted ours, so we know the feeling.
I have one more to go, and it's been painful this time.
And talk to us about the ebook, because the ebook sounds pretty good. When's that?
So the ebook, it's been a long time in the making, a very long time in the making, because I've reworded, rewritten, added. It's now some 26 odd pages long. Some say too long, but we can always split it into 2 books if we wanted to. The point is the asset is now there effectively, so, and you haven't got to reinvent, and it's easier to split it than it is to put it together in the first place. And that's going to be starting to going out with Facebook advertising on Tuesday, hopefully next week. It's all being prettified and done, so it's ready to go. And that then follows off the back of that is the leaflet drop that Carol and Christine have been working with me on. So I just need to get as far as working out the words for the rest of the leaflet. Christine's given me some good stuff to work with. So that's my mission for the weekend.
Amazing. All right, good stuff. Nadine, tell us about your win of the week.
Oh, sorry, couldn't get the mute button. My win of the week, I got treated on Monday to a spa day by my friends, which was fabulous. I don't often get to do things like that anymore. And had a day of swimming and massage and drinking Prosecco, and it was lovely. So yeah, that was probably my win of the week.
It sounds amazing.
And seeing you so much, Chris, obviously.
Again, no money has changed hands, just to be clear. Thanks for that.
Just be careful, his head's got to fit through that door later.
Terry, save me now, mate, because this is getting really embarrassing. What's your big win of the week?
Oh, clearly, it's joining the Avery Means Business community.
Clearly. Paul.
I do that.
Paul, can you not make it about me this one, mate?
Yeah,
please,
my win of the week, Chris, is only seeing you once this week.
I feel, Paul, what you've done there is perfect because you've equalised it. I appreciate that, mate. And Sarah, tell us about your big win of the week.
Well, I think it's yet to come. I'm actually I'm meeting somebody that I've worked with for many, many years, and we're having lunch today. I've got to travel round to Barnet to meet him because he lives the other side of the M25. But so a business lunch in person. I mean,
Right, we
that's
will,
the big
and
thing, isn't it?
I know we've seen each other quite a lot over the past few months, but we still need to do that lunch at the Net, don't we? We need to get that in the diary. I will be emailing straight after to get that organised.
Okay, that'd be amazing.
Great stuff. All right, thank you everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Have a lovely remainder of the Friday, and I'll see you at an upcoming HMB event soon. Bye.
Have a good weekend. Cheers.